What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Dio back with another video. I'm here to get educated, so educate yourself. I have a video that I'm probably gonna regret watching. People that know me know that I hate insects. I hate them with a passion. I hate them with a passion. But I mean, we have to know what's out there, right? I mean, why wouldn't we? It's YouTube. But let's just get into it.
Insects and arachnids actually outnumber humans by around 1,000,000 to 1. It's no wonder why they come in such a wide array of shapes and forms. The following spiders are some you've probably never actually seen before, especially number 1, which is an insect that doesn't...
I can't get too close to the screen because my computer kind of big, but the thing, it look real. It look real.
Look like an insect at all. Stay tuned to find out what that is as we bring you the top 10 insects and spiders you won't believe actually exist. With all that said and done, let's begin, shall we? Number 10. The giant golden orb weaver spider. Most bats feed on insects, or any other animals that it can manage to fit into its mouth, which includes spiders. But did you know that there is a species of spider that has turned the tables on these nocturnal flyers? A common sight when walking in the forests of Japan and India, this is the spectacular, but rather
What the Okay. I'm crawling right now. I'm crawling. I'm sorry, y'all. That spider looked like it was coming out of the screen. I hate spiders. I'm itching. Ooh.
frightening giant golden orb weaver spider, which are commonly called giant wood spiders or the bat-eating spider. Yeah, you heard me right there. They are called bat-eating spiders, and for good reason. They are quite large, sporting a leg span of 8 inches, but it's their more impressive webs that are responsible for catching their nighttime prey. These guys can spin an orb-shaped web more than 1 meter across. Add to that the fact that spider silk is pound for pound stronger and tougher than steel, then you have a perfectly good bat trap.
Deal.
The thing is, they actually don't intentionally build webs to catch bats. They actually prefer smaller prey like flying insects. However, small bats accidentally run into these webs and get trapped. When this happens, these opportunistic hunters won't turn their noses up to a nice bat meal. Number 9. The giant weta. And
Okay, I can see something like this, you know.
endemic to New Zealand, giant wetas are enormous bugs that are related to crickets. The largest giant wetas can weigh in excess of 70 grams or about...
Wait.
related to crickets. The largest giant wetas can weigh...
So you're just gonna be okay with whatever is on your... What is this? Throw up, boo-boo. What? Snot. You're just okay. I'm not trying to be that guy, but why? Some people do the craziest things for the fun of it. Believe it or not, people do things just for the thrill.
in excess of 70 grams or about 2.5 ounces,
Fat ass head.
making them among the heaviest insects. Obviously, being as heavy as a mouse can only mean one thing. These giant creatures have lost the ability to fly, and although it looks like a cricket that had too much gym time, it can't jump as well. They are pretty long too, with bodies measuring as long as about 4 inches and not including the legs and antennae.
I don't think I'm
Aside
gonna
from
make it to
being
number
absolutely huge,
one.
giant wetas also have other characteristics setting apart from other insects. For one, they breathe through their exoskeleton, and they also happen to have their ears on their knees. Because these giants are only found on islands,
It fascinates me. Like, how do you figure that out? How do you know that? I want to know that for real. Like, how did they figure that out? That wetas have ears on their knees. I mean, how do you know it? What if what if this thing just jumped on her face? Oh my God. See, that's the thing. I be thinking too deep into it like that. If that thing just jumped on her face, it just, ooh.
islands, they are an excellent example of island gigantism. And since they're only found on islands, they are also highly susceptible to extinction. In fact, New Zealand's giant weta population is currently in decline, landing these insects into the endangered species list, primarily due to predation by rats. Number 8. The Myrmeciane spider. This spider is an incredible example of Batesian mimicry, when one animal deters potential predators by disguising as an unpalatable or dangerous animal of another species. In this case, it's a spider that looks like a weaver ant, an ant that's notorious for its painful bite, and also because they produce 2 different chemicals that increase the pain in the bite wound. They're also highly aggressive, so many birds, reptiles, and amphibians generally avoid them. On the other hand, the Myrmeciane spider is harmless and shy. However, it pretends to be just as tough by looking and walking almost exactly as a weaver ant. Its cephalothorax is modified so that it looks like the distinct head and thorax of an ant, and it has 2 black spots that mimic the ant's eyes. Its forelegs mimic the ant's antennae.
You know what I think? A little spider and a little ant. You ever heard of the birds and the bees? Well, the spiders and the ants. I got it on.
Antennae, so the spider looks as if it only had 6 legs, like an actual ant. It is only found in India, China, and Southeastern Asia, but it's not the only ant-mimicking spider. Many other species are found around the world's tropics, and they imitate many different kinds of aggressive ant. Number 7. The Atlas moth. Common across the Malay archipelago, these bird-sized insects are considered the largest moths in the world. They're so big that their cocoons are occasionally used as purses in Taiwan. The total area of their wings can measure more than 60 square
Look, I want to see that. I'm going to search that up.
inches, and their wingspans can measure at least 1 foot in length. They can also be over 1 inch thick. Despite their size, this is one moth that won't eat your clothes to shreds. These giants actually have no mouths and don't eat once emerging from their cocoons. All their adult life, all 2 weeks of it, they rely solely on the fat they stored while they were caterpillars. Or as I like to call them, glutton worms. Some say the moth is named after Atlas in Greek mythology. He was the titan condemned by Zeus to hold the sky upon his shoulders. The name refers to the sheer vastness of the moth's size. In China, the Cantonese name for moth translates into snake's head moth, referring to the outer tips of the wings that look pretty similar to the head of a snake. Number 6. Maratas valans.
That's all you had to say. That's Maratas valans. That sounds... Don't mess with me. It's a beautiful spider, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Commonly known as the peacock spider due to the brightly colored circular flap in the male's abdomen, the male of this
Alright, it's not that scary. It's
diminutive species raises his flap like a colorful fan and uses it to catch the female's attention, kinda like a peacock. It also vibrates its hind legs and abdomen for a more dramatic effect. There are numerous species belonging to this family of spiders, and new ones are constantly being discovered. Back in 2015, 2 new species were found in Australia that quickly became favorites of spider enthusiasts. They were found by Madeline Gerard, a graduate student at the University of California, Berkeley, who studies peacock spiders, and a friend who went with her into the field. Gerard affectionately gave the nickname Sparkle Muffin to one of the species, Maratus jactatus, which has bluish and reddish stripes on its abdomen. She nicknamed the other species Skeletorus for its white markings on a black background, which makes it look like a bit of a skeleton. Number 5. The Filbert Weevil. Filbert weevils are one of the most unusual looking insects on Earth. Belonging to the beetle family, looking at them kinda reminds me of a bird, due to its long hooked snout, specifically the kiwi though. But no matter how cute they look, they are considered as very destructive pests. The Filbert weevil begins life in an acorn mating cycle. The larva.
This thing just looks annoying.
Number 4. The Diving Bell Spider. The diving bell spider is the only member of its group to spend its entire life underwater. But it still needs to breathe air, and it does so by building its own diving bell, a dome-like chamber it uses to trap air underwater. How it builds its diving bell is quite an amazing process. First, it spins a dome-shaped web between underwater plants. Next, it rises to the surface and
Bro, spiders are the most extraordinary. Like they're scary, but they're like the most extraordinary insect. Other than like praying mantis, like this whole spider species.
And traps bubbles using the fine hairs on its legs and belly. It carries them down to its web and releases them,
That's
gradually
crazy.
filling the dome with air. After a few trips, the spider has amassed a bubble so large that it can fit inside. The bubble acts as a home, a staging ground for hunting trips, and a nursery for its eggs. Amazingly, it also acts like a gill, allowing oxygen from the surrounding water to enter while allowing carbon dioxide from inside the bell to filter out into the water, and thus keeping the air inside the bell completely breathable. Number 3. The Hummingbird Moth. Talk about someone having an identity crisis. The hummingbird moth is an insect that looks and behaves so much like a hummingbird that they're kinda difficult to tell apart from a distance. Not only does the moth flit about like a hummingbird, it even appears to have feathers in its tail, which are actually elongated hairs. Like its namesake, the hummingbird moth hovers in front of flowers, collecting sweet nectar from within. In place of a beak, it has a long straw-like proboscis that it uses to siphon off the sticky fluid. At roughly an inch long, this proboscis is nearly the length of the moth's body, so
Oh, I'm tripping. I was like, I thought we was watching an insect thing, but it's a moth. I thought it was a hummingbird this whole time, and they just said it was not a hummingbird.
it keeps the appendage coiled up tightly when not in use. Believe it or not, scientists have coined a term to describe animals evolving to look like other species totally unrelated to theirs. It's called convergent evolution and can be seen in the similar body shape of fish and dolphins, the sharp spines of hedgehogs and porcupines, and the opposable thumbs shared by possums and primates. Now it's time for today's best pick. Today's pick is something that I'm sure either you or me would never want to see in our bathrooms. A massive spider.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. That has to be Photoshop. We'll just wait.
For some of you guys, it only takes a small spider to make you quickly run out of your bathroom, but our best pick can grow to probably as large as a toilet seat. What kind of spider is it? Find out next with number 2. The giant Huntsman spider.
Okay, the Huntsman's not
Giant
hurt,
Huntsman
y'all.
spiders are renowned for their enormous size, with males able to achieve a leg span of between 10 and 12 inches, and that's as big as a dinner plate, by the way. They are sometimes called giant crab spiders or wood spiders because they like to live in woody areas such as forests, sheds, and wood piles.
I'm building my home out of metal.
Despite their terrifying size, a bite from a huntsman spider can be painful, but will not cause anything more serious than mild nausea or headaches. Another bit of good news is that these giant arachnids rarely bite humans, but that's probably because anyone who sees one automatically runs away in the opposite direction. They are also extremely effective natural pest control machines, feeding on various critters that we would consider pests. The huntsman eats only a variety.
This is like watching a horror movie. They be having it so close. You be getting closer and closer to the dang screen because you can't see nothing. And then all of a sudden they got this fat ass spider in your
Variety
face.
of insects, arthropods, small lizards, and frogs. They've even been known to eat mice, rats, and in a few rare instances,
Just think about it. Just think about it. This thing, it's not little. Jumping on your face. That's all I think about. Just imagine it. Just jump on your face. Like in fucking all the Alien versus Predator movies, all the Alien movies. When they looked inside that little pot, that's all I think about ever since I was little. I love those movies though.
An opossum. The prey is not captured in a web, but actively stalked and run down with stealth and speed, which is pretty impressive for such a large spider. And kinda terrifying. Number 1. The orchid mantis. While it doesn't actually live on orchids, the orchid mantis looks remarkably like a flower, with body parts that resemble petals. It lives in bushes and small trees that grow white and pink flowers. It is arguably the most beautiful insect in the entire world, and it uses its shape and bright flowery colors to attract food and fool potential predators.
It's a good
Though
looking
generally
insect.
white, the insect can turn itself
If we were insects, that insect would be pulling. I ain't gonna lie. They be pulling all the little insects. All the little I mean, depends on if it's a girl or a boy, it'll be pulling.
Shades of pink and purple within a few days to resemble the orchids found in its humid habitat in Malaysia. It adapts to different conditions by detecting humidity and light and then changing colors to blend in. Unsuspecting insects that mistake.
Okay, I didn't know they were that small. I didn't know that. What is that? What is the saying? Size doesn't matter. It matters a little bit right now.
The mantis for a flower may land nearby or even on top of it, allowing the pretty predator to snatch them up for a nice quick meal. Flying insects such as butterflies and moths are the mantis' main source of food, but it will also eat jungle fruits as well. Which entry on our list is totally new to you?
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys could like, comment, or subscribe, or all of the above. I just want to thank you guys so much for supporting me. So until the next one, it's Dial the Guy signing out.